Hello, hello, hello. As usual, let me know if anyone is here. Of course, I always have a delay. And also, if you get the notifications, for some reason, my notifications, you guys say that my notifications don't come through. Let's see, let's see. I don't think the notification came through yet. I'll wait. Hello. Okay, some people are coming in, so I guess you guys are getting the notification. Let me know if you guys can hear me and if you received your notification. Hey, May, did you receive a notification or you just saw that I was live? Who else is here? You guys say hello. I know some people just like to listen in, but if you can, so I know. Can you hear me, May? I know I went a little early today. Okay, you got a notification. Okay. I went early today. I'm off today. I'm a firm believer that when we have like a holiday, I need to take off either the day before or the day after the holiday. So I'm off today. So I'm early. So I know some people probably won't be able to listen in, but I'm just going to speak on this. Okay, good. Thank you, May. I am going to speak on this and then I'm going to be done with it because there's a lot in this story. A lot in this story. Hey, Monique, how are you? There's a lot. And so, there are kids involved, and I understand people are going to say, well, they're not kids anymore. They're adults, which is true. But what you saw with Aoki yesterday was truly a child who is crying out for her father. So yes, while she is 20 years old, she is still a child to Russell and Kimora. Point blank period. So okay, people are saying they're just now getting their notifications. Okay. So unfortunately, you guys, I don't know why it takes forever for the notifications to come through. Maybe because I'm not monetized yet and I'm not in the algorithm. I don't know, but we're gonna wait a little bit. Yeah, it was sad, May. It was sad. And honestly, I feel for Aoki. I do. Kimora, on the other hand, I don't know. And we're gonna get into that. But Aoki, yeah, I do feel for her. But we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna do a deep dive. And hey Steph. And again, I know a lot of people really want to focus on like the other type of gossip, but you guys know I'm about bringing balance to my channel. And based on the live poll, it was almost 50-50. Some people said, yes, go live. Some people said, no, don't go live. But I went live. It is what it is. And we're going to talk about it. Of course, as usual, be respectful in the comments. And at the same time, if I do decide, hey, Yaya, if I do decide to bring up a panel, remember to debate the topic and not the person. I'm starting to realize that a lot of people just want to be right and they want to debate the person versus the topic at hand. So yeah, let's definitely keep it that way, keep it cordial. So here we are, and child, it had to happen. Father's Day and Juneteenth. Okay. I was just like, really, y'all, like it couldn't be any other weekend. But apparently, based on the information that I've researched and people giving me information, what I have seen, it was the Father's Day post that triggered all of this. So apparently, Ming Lee, the oldest child of Russell Simmons and Kimora Lee, posted a story saying Happy Father's Day to her mother. Okay. And then Kimora apparently reposted what Ming actually posted, which triggered Russell to make a post saying, stop looking at the father, almost kind of implying, stop looking at the father, blame the mother. Okay. Now, it was very cryptic. It was just, to me, what happened afterwards, and you guys let me know how you feel. What happened afterwards from that? I just did not see why it triggered Kimora the way that it did. Okay. Now, I could see how it triggered Russell because at the end of the day, he is still their father. And even with, say, for instance, whatever has been going on for the past couple of years, he has been their father. And they had a great relationship and a great parenting relationship, really all the way up until what, 2018 or something like that. So I could understand he was in his feelings and maybe he posted something like that. I didn't understand what Kimora, like Kimora went on a deep end. She had enough. And so let's just go back, because she said a lot, and a lot of people are like triggered for so many various different things. But let's just literally just take it back to their relationship. Okay. Now, she said on her live that she met, hey, CC, yeah, I figured you was going to be here, baby girl. So yeah, we're going to talk about it. I watched short clip yesterday and I did feel for the daughter the way she was on that live crying like that man, and then the clip of him silently yelling on the phone. See, and that's the thing I also have an issue with, y'all, but we're going to get on that, because my thing is, if you're going to give us receipts, give us all the receipts, because we really don't know what he was yelling about on there. And my thing is, we can play wordsmith all day long, and it's no shade, but we do know that Russell Simmons does have a lisp. So people were saying he was foaming at the mouth. Well, people with a lisp typically do spit when they're talking. No shade, but it just is what it is. I want to know what he said. Like, don't give us half receipts, because as far as we know, he could have been yelling about anything. And here's the thing. I don't have a dog in this fight. This is not a pro Kimora. This is not a pro Russell. This is just me observing all sides of the situation. Russell Simmons, though, for all of us who are old enough to know who Russell Simmons is considered one of the godfathers of hip hop. He is one of the co-founders of Def Jam. Def Jam is like the Motown of hip hop, pretty much. Anybody who has seen Russell Simmons in an interview or even on these reality shows knows that he is very crass. Okay. And what do I mean by crass? I mean that he is very, very blunt, very sometimes gross, sometimes a little too much with some of the things that he says. For example, I was a very, very huge, yes, and Fat Farm too. I was a very huge like, I used to love watching Run's House. I don't know if you guys remember Run's House, but I was faithful with Run's House. Like, every time it came on, I was glued to my TV. Love the show, love seeing the family. And even on there, I remember times where Run would be talking to Russell. And like, for example, I think Run was having a hard time trying to see how he can talk to his kids or certain kids about freaky tales, the birds and the bees. And he went to Russell for advice, and Russell was like, Ming is 5. And then literally he said, look, I'm not like you. I would tell her, don't give up the P. Don't give up the P. Now, of course, he said the whole entire word, but he was like, don't give up the P. He was very crass even in that moment. I don't put it past him to just have that type of mouth with everyone. In fact, we've seen it if you've seen some of those reality shows. So he is that type of person. Even with his yoga and meditation, he is still all day, every day, New York. He's unapologetic. He's raw with it. He says what's on his mind. It is what it is. Russell Simmons has always given that, even in the yoga, even in the meditation, even with him being a vegan. Now, you guys let me know if you feel the same way, but what I always saw of Russell was that's just who he is. Even when they do the Def Jam documentaries, that is who he is. He's been that way. So to me, him going off the deep end and cussing and fussing and stuff, from what I've seen, that's him. That's him. Even in his Def Jam days, when he was actively CEO and everything of Def Jam, he was like that. So with that, I did want to see exactly what he was saying, because again, you know what I mean? For all we know, he could have been spazzing out over, Aoki saying something disrespectful. We don't know. That's the thing. We do not know what was said. So I would prefer, half receipts aren't going to work for me. And we're going to get on the text messages too, but let's just start from the beginning. Okay? So okay, Russell and Kimora met apparently in 1992. Now, this is straight from Insider. Insider decided to give us a timeline on the situation. Now, she said she met this man somewhere around 16 years old on her actual live. Okay, she said she was 16. And so with that, she said she was 16. She didn't imply anything in that situation, but the fact that they met at 16, when she was 16 years old. She did say that. Okay. Now, apparently they met based on Insider at New York Fashion Week in 1992. And at that time, he was around 34, 35 or something like that. And she was just 17 years old, apparently, when they officially met. She said 16, if I'm not mistaken, in her live, but they're saying 17. Okay. And then with that, in 2020, Simmons said, Russell, that they didn't begin dating until Lee turned 18 and that Lee's mother approved of their relationship. Okay, that's what he said. Now, with that, he said apparently that she was legal at 17, but she turned 18, and that met her mother and her manager at the time approved and supported and pretty much said, it was fine for her to date him. So with that being said, again, because I often look at situations like this when we hear there is a huge age difference, especially in this industry. Just like when we're dealing with the situation with Aaliyah, just like when we're hearing certain other situations, one has to kind of put in the back of their mind, where the hell was the parents at? Now, am I wrong for saying that? Because where are they in these situations? Now, granted, teenagers can be sneaky as hell, because I know I could be sneaky as hell. We think we grown, we think we can be sneaky, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, again, where's the parent? So that in itself, is kind of like, yeah, that is a big age difference. And I understand that she was in an industry where even at 16, 17 years old, she was around a lot of adults, grown adults. But at the same time, no one has, what he apparently said, that her mother approved. No one has come back and said that wasn't the case. So clearly, it seems like there was some approval in that situation. Okay. So moving on from that, they married 6 years later. So they got married in 1998. Now, according to the Insider, later that month, they had a non-denominational ceremony on the Caribbean islands, which was officiated by the younger brother, Joseph Simmons, Run. However, Lee, now when they say Lee, that's Kimora, of course, told Vanity Fair in 2005 that their Caribbean ceremony was almost derailed by one of her bridesmaids because they wanted Russell and couldn't take it. Okay, now she apparently told Vanity Fair this. Okay, so interesting. Hey, Yuli. So she says that literally in 2005 that her wedding almost got ruined because one of her bridesmaids, which I'm assuming if you have someone as a bridesmaid, that's someone you close to or a friend, they wanted Russell and couldn't take it. So it seemed like there was some drama from the beginning of this situation. So then, of course, we have Ming Lee, who was born in 2000. And she also just graduated recently from college. Congratulations. And then we have the second child, which is Aoki, which is the one who was crying, she just graduated from Harvard at 20 years old. She went to Harvard at 16 years old. Got to give that young lady props. Have to give her props for that. Kudos that she was able to really go into an Ivy League school at 16 and graduate at 20. Love that for her. And then Simmons and Lee announced their split in 2006. Okay. Lee is the one who filed for the divorce. However, we all know from reality shows and interviews and everything else, we know that they maintained a good relationship. It appeared that way. Reality shows, everything. They still did a lot of business together. Baby Fat was still going at that time. And I know that I think Russell actually did have Baby Fat at first. So when he got married to Kimora, she took it over. But yeah, they still did business together, all of that stuff. And so with that, she ended up having more kids with other men, and they still had this bond as if they were family. Of course, she ended up marrying that guy who was from Amistad. Is it Demont? I don't know how to say his name, but she started dating him in 2007, which was only a year after the whole divorce situation. And then she had her child then, but they split in 2012. Then she ends up in 2014 or so that she was, well, in 2014, they said she was dating Birdman, which I don't know if that was the case. But what I do know is she ended up dating this guy and marrying this guy named Tim Leisner. Okay. And if you ask me, he is the common denominator in all of this bullshit. This is the common denominator because it seems to me, yeah, I know how to spell it, Steph. I just don't know how to say it. So that's the issue. I don't know how to say it, but y'all know who he is. He's the guy who played in Amistad. But yeah, yeah, exactly. You don't know you spell it that way. It's hard to pronounce and spell. But she ends up marrying him. Now, based on the information I heard about him, my God, this man used to work for Goldman Sachs, and he got, apparently he has, now I don't know if he's officially been given his sentencing or whatever the case may be, but the thing is that Russell, Tim, and Kimora all got together and created this investment group that ended up actually investing in Celsius water. Now, this all happened around 2016, 2017, okay? This is based on the timeline that I'm looking at because you guys, I had to get a lot of information. So literally around 2016, 17, they invest and they get Celsius water and they get a lot of stocks, of course. They're pretty much ownership of it, get a lot of stocks in it. Now, of course, we know in 2017, the accusations about Russell Simmons came out, about SA. And not just from one woman, but from multiple women. They even had a documentary on it. I am sure you guys can find the documentary. So around 2017, Russell Simmons flees the U.S. We can't deny that. He got his ass out of here and he went to Bali, and he has not been back since. At least publicly hasn't been back. I don't put it past him if maybe he has snuck in. Don't know for sure. Allegedly, all of this is alleged, but he could have came in, creeped in for a little bit, went back out. But he is in Bali, and he is in Bali because the U.S. has no control of getting his ass from Bali and bringing him back to the U.S. Okay, so interesting enough, though, Kimora, Tim, they still do business. They still do business with Russell, even with all of these, allegations that come out. In fact, back in 2018, Kimora breaks her silence about the allegations against Russell Simmons. Okay, because I had to look this up because I said, did she say anything back then about the allegations? Because, let Kimora tell it. She's about women empowerment. She's about women's rights. So I was like, surely we need to find something about what she said about that allegation or the allegations. So, based on the Hollywood Reporter and several other sources, what she pretty much says is that, hold on, let me get to it because there's several different things. They broke it up. One thing she said is that her ex-husband is a caring and supportive father and someone who has worked tirelessly to uplift disenfranchised communities. Okay? That's one thing she said. Then she also said, sorry, I've got so many tabs open right now, child. Like literally, my computer is like, what the hell are you doing? She also says these allegations against him are nothing like the person I have known in all that time. So this is the stuff that she's saying. And she pretty much, at least 6 women, I think, if I'm not mistaken, had alleged SA against Russell at this time. But she pretty much says, look, the chorus of those speaking out against harassment and violence in all its forms, she encouraged anyone faced with harassment to report it and said she was committed to finding injustice. But at the same time, she didn't deny, pro it, against it, whatever the case may be. She didn't say anything. She kept quiet. And she was still working with him too. There was money involved because, again, around this time, they had that investment group. Okay. Now we have Tim Leisure, who comes into play. And Tim Leisure gets pretty much indicted over a lot of shit that he did. Now, apparently, most of this stuff happened in Malaysia. But he actually had to go to court, and he actually was a former banker, like manager with Goldman Sachs. And Goldman Sachs is a freaking huge damn company. Okay, huge. And apparently, this was a $4 billion fraud case. $4 billion, y'all. Okay, this is not no punk ass money. Okay, $4 billion. Now, with that, he ends up getting arrested, interesting enough. And the issue comes into play that apparently there was a lot of stocks in this Celsius water company. And I guess when he got arrested, Kimora decided to use the stock money to bail him out, to pay for his bond. And so, in my opinion, from what I'm hearing, this is where the bullshit starts to happen. Okay? Because, of course, money can be the root of all evil. And so, with that, when that happened, that seems to be where the disconnect started between Russell and Kimora. Now, keep in mind, this man left the country where all of his businesses are. Okay. We know that he is a mogul. He has had everything from record companies to those prepaid rush cards to all types of stuff, to clothing lines, everything. He left all of that. And I don't know who he left it to take care of, but based on what Kimora is saying, it was her. Now, we don't know if that's necessarily all the case, but that's what she's saying, that it was her. Now, you guys can look up Tim Leisure. This shit is serious to the point where when you put in his name, he's on a lot of government sites like gov.gov. So he's definitely somebody in the books, as far as this is definitely some history in the making as far as the type of stuff that he did. Okay. So with that, in my personal opinion, it seems like even though this was $4 billion, they're saying that all he has to pay, I guess, is $44 million of that. And he ended up testifying against other people. Now, from my understanding, Russell is upset because he is saying that without his permission, Kimora and Tim or whoever took that stock money and paid for the bond without actually letting Russell know. Now, this is in 2018, okay? August of 2018, Leisner pled guilty to conspiring to launder money, and he agreed to forfeit 43 million in shares of stock valued at more than 200 million and is awaiting sentencing. This was back in 2018. So they have been having some legal issues. And I honestly think this is where a lot of Russell's frustration is coming from. Hey, Dustin. Hey, Nene. I think this is a lot of where his frustrations are coming from. Now, granted, he took them to court. He did take them to court, and apparently the court is ruling in Kimora's favor because let her tell it that he actually sold off his stocks before Kimora actually took the remaining stocks to pay for Tim's bond. Okay. So with that being said, that's what she's saying, and the court is actually in her favor. But here's the problem with that. When you're dealing with a scammer, the way that that man has been moving, where alleged it was $4 billion of laundering or whatever the case may be, you don't necessarily know what the hell he's been doing behind closed doors. I mean, we really don't. So does Russell possibly have a reasoning for probably being upset in this situation? Maybe. Because it could be that there was some shady stuff going on. And let's be clear, I also, in my investigation, based on reports, the man admitted that he was a huge liar, so much that he lied to get Kimora. He apparently created a bogus divorce decree to show to Kimora so Kimora would marry him. Let me repeat that again. This man created a fake divorce decree so he could have Kimora marry him. So it seems like his whole entire situation just seems is full of scams and lies, including his relationships. Because it sounds like that means he was legally married, maybe in another country, but he was legally married to someone else, even when he was married to Kimora. And you guys can all look this up for yourself. But yeah, so as far as I see it, he is the common denominator. He is definitely the common denominator to all of this nonsense. And so here we are in 2023. And while, Aoki, I personally feel when Kimora got on live, that triggered Aoki. Okay. Because, of course, with any situation, kids see their parents, especially the parent that they're really, really close to, crying or whatever the case may be, is going to trigger them. So she probably saw her mother crying and it just triggered her. She saw it on Instagram. And then here we go with Aoki getting on Instagram, because Kimora, from my understanding, just looking at everything, she literally got on there first. And then once Kimora was done, Aoki came on. And so, Aoki definitely, you could tell she's hurt. I'm not denying that. Now, some people, of course, have decided to go in on Aoki, not me. Because again, she is a child in this situation. And so she definitely, I think, feels like she's caught in the middle. Now, again, her having that recording of her father looking like he was losing his mind. And again, here's the problem, though. I also say this. That's Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons goes off on a deep end on a lot of stuff. If you hear people who actually worked with Russell Simmons before, especially during his Def Jam days and even during his yoga days, Russell can sometimes go off the deep end. That's just like, he did it on Ron's house. I don't know if you guys remember this scene. There was this one scene in particular that Ron was actually talking to, because there's an older brother. It's an older brother of the Simmons family, Russell, and then Ron. They were all together, and Ron was telling a story about how Russell lost his shit in Subway. I don't know if y'all remember that, but I sure as hell do. And he said he got mad at the person making his veggie sandwich, and he got so pissed off, he threw the damn sandwich at the guy who was making it. And now, while Russell was laughing and Ron was like, I thought it was hilarious. And the older brother was like, you supposed to be a minister. You supposed to pray for him. When you really look at it, you'd be like, well, damn, that's kind of, would you throwing a sandwich at someone? You getting that upset? That comes off as Russell Simmons. Does it make it right? No. But is this like random behavior of him going off the deep end? I don't think so. I don't think so. That's the way he comes off. But again, we did not hear what was said. And I ain't the one to read lips, especially someone with a lisp. Okay. When the tongue gets in the way, sometimes you really don't know what the hell they saying. So I wasn't about to do it. But apparently they're saying that in one part he said that he's broke. Okay. Yes, the older brother's name is Daniel, right? Because all of Run's kids is named after the brothers, Daniel, Russell, and of course, Joseph. So my thing is with the text message though, because one thing that Aoki was saying was she's not involved in this. She doesn't understand what's going on. She has nothing to do with this. However, in these text messages that she wanted to show, she pretty much says like there's one part where she's like, just why I'm out here praying for you and hoping everything goes well, and you call my mother a piece of shit. He says, neutral my ass. I don't even appear in your media, and your mother has stolen my money and the love of my kids as she promised she is. She actually is. Now, of course, she covers this certain part up with her. It's like talking to a crude child, so I can't read that part. But the next part that you can read, she says, she did not steal it. You lost it. And then Russell says she is a piece of shit. And Aoki says, understand you lost it with your actions. Now, for someone who claims they don't know what's going on, then the adults, like her mother, have told her to stay out of this business. How does she know that information? How does she know that information where she feels so strongly to tell her father that it's not her fault you lost it? Okay. Am I the only one who's thinking that? Y'all let me know in the comments. Because she says she didn't do anything. It's you. It's all on you. Now, let's just say hypothetically, there was some stuff going on, and no one's saying that Kimora was a part of it. But again, we clearly see that her husband that she married is skeptical as hell. Let's just say there was some shady stuff involved, allegedly. Who knows? If my daughter, after trusting the mother, and I've trusted her with business for so many years, ends up getting me to a situation where some of my money is gone, and then my daughter literally takes the side of it ain't her fault, it's your fault, and I'm in a financial crisis, apparently, allegedly, I think he would probably be annoyed. I'm just saying. But again, that's my take on the situation because yeah, she knows more than what she's saying. Yeah. Yeah. I think they all know more than what they're saying. Not just Aoki, Kimora too. Because again, Aoki was saying she's been told to stay out of it. And she said she stayed out of it. She don't know what's going on. But the fact that she felt so confident in capital letters saying you lost it, your actions. You know what I'm saying? Like that is like, I don't know if you're neutral. I don't know if you're neutral in a situation. That's why he probably said neutral my ass. You know what I'm saying? We don't see her saying, I really don't know what's going on. Could you please stop talking about my mother? Blah, blah, blah. While she says that, she says, it's your actions that did it. It's your fault. So to me, to a certain extent, that sounds like there are sides being taken. But that's just what it sounds like to me, based on the information that she has put out there. Now, all of a sudden, Kimora is coming out. And again, I don't know personally, based on that Father's Day post, repost, and what Russell said, as far as that cryptic message that he put out there, I don't know if that warranted everything that Kimora said the next day. But again, we don't know some of the stuff behind the scenes. But from my understanding, some of the stuff that she said from, of course, now she's bringing up the allegations. She definitely wanted to use that moment, of course, about the other women who have definitely have had, their issues with Russell, in which, hey, I want justice for that situation by all means. But I guess my issue with her is she didn't really say shit back in 2017, 2018 when this all happened. And she kept her mouth shut for years. Now she wants to mention it. You know what I mean? She wants to mention that. From my understanding, and I couldn't find this, but allegedly just seeing, things popping up on my YouTube page. Allegedly she tried to imply that, I'm saying, he's part of the, gay community. And this is one thing that I cannot stand. Stop using sexuality as a freaking like read, or you trying to question someone's manhood or womanhood, or like that irks the hell out of me. Why in 2023 are people still using that as someone being gay as a way to try to embarrass someone? Like I don't like that. Now, I didn't hear her say that. They're saying that in a lot of the comments and pages that she apparently said that. I don't, and let's be clear, rumors and allegedly those stories have been out about Kimora too. So I don't understand why she's so busy trying to out him if she actually did that when those rumors have been out about her as well. But again, it's more acceptable for women versus men. So I think we just got to get, because I was just like, really? Like, no, you just can't leave it on a certain playing field. No, of course, somebody always has to say someone is gay, someone is on the down low. It's getting old at this point. It really is. It's really getting old. But she said a lot. She said a lot. And while I understood Aoki crying and her pain, I did not know the angle of why Kimora was doing this. Now, granted, like I said, the courts have ruled in her favor based on the information that she had. And now they're saying that Russell needs to pay her for, like her attorney fees and all of that type of stuff. So I just, again, if there was some foul stuff going on that, because again, it's not like this is just between him and Kimora. There is this man involved that allegedly is around a $4 billion scandal. This man even lied to his own wife about still being married and gave her a fake divorce decree, fake paperwork. He created paperwork for the fake divorce decree. Anything could be possible on what this man was doing. Anything. And again, all alleged. But when you're dealing with someone who's that calculated and literally has gotten to the point where he's in trouble with the government, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. So to me, it's possible. Now, is it right for Russell to go off the way that he's going off, apparently, when it comes to Aoki and Ming? Hell no. Those are still your children. It is, you know what I'm saying? Like, it really, this does have to do with the adults. It has to do with Russell, Kimora, and Tim. But do I understand if there was some foul stuff going on, why he's so pissed off? Yes. And the problem is he ain't coming back to the U.S. to try to fix the situation, because if he come back to the U.S., we clearly know what's going to probably happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. There's a reason why he ain't coming back. You know what I mean? So he is kind of in probably a helpless situation, trusting people with his funds and things like that. And maybe in the process, he realizes that he can't trust anyone. But at the same time, I don't know, what his bank accounts are like in the US. Like, he is in a very vulnerable situation. And again, if the allegations are true about those women at this point, he needs to just bring his ass back to the US and handle this situation. He does. But at the same time, my issue with Kimora is you want to bring this up after years of being silent. And then when you did say something, it was very neutral. You know what I mean? Very neutral. Because clearly there was still investments and everything else that were involved. Now that there's no investments and money involved, it seems to me that all bets are off. That's the way it's coming off in this situation. Because I said, it's not like Russell posted a very evil picture of the kids and her and said all of that type. Like, it wasn't that. He just simply said, if you question what's going on with me, maybe look at your mother. And again, To me, in my opinion, did it warrant her going off the deep end like that? I don't think so. But let me know what you guys think about the situation, because that's just my take. I had to do a deep dive, and that's almost, I got to the point where I was like, I don't know if I want to do this shit because it's just too much. It's too much to talk about. But I I don't think Russell is 100% innocent in this situation, but I also don't think Kimora is 100% innocent in this situation. You know what I mean? Like, both of them have definitely done certain things that are questionable. And then of course, even though this really has nothing to do with it, but we all remember the situation with the Kardashians and Kimora, and how she was pretty much saying to check, Jordan, check that situation and don't let her disrespect you and X, Y, and Z. And we clearly saw where that went. Now, granted, Kimora didn't actually verbatim say this is how you do it, but she was definitely gassing that situation up. And I damn sure don't remember her giving an apology on the situation either. Now, from my understanding, Jordan's mother has since seen Kimora and even taken pictures with her. Jordan's mother, seems very unproblematic, and she's all about love and light. And even in those situations, she would definitely sit up there. Hey, True LB. Hey, Mickey. Hey, Donna. Hey, T. Hey, brother. Hey, Teeth. Her mother seems very unproblematic, and I'm sure she probably is in that mindset of, we not gonna do anything, God will handle all types of situations. So that's her thing. Like, we not gonna handle it. We're not gonna do that. And I'm glad the way that they took it, and luckily for the Smith family, being able to give, Jordan her seat at the table and tell her side of the story. Jordan has been able to spin all of this around and truly make an amazing career for herself. But I remember that situation with Kimora, and people was attacking Kimora left and right. Left and right. Exactly. Nobody wins when the family feuds. Nobody wins when the family feuds. But in my personal opinion, it seems like the common denominator on this family starting to feud was this ex-husband of Kimora's. He seems like the common denominator in the situation. And right now, everybody's pointing the finger at each other. But I don't necessarily think that it could be possible that Tim possibly did a lot of stuff in the background that Kimora is not aware of. And unfortunately, because they're all a part of the same company, Russell had to take both of them to court. You know what, Rev Run, I don't think I'll speak out. But I do know this. When I went to Russell's IG page, and he gave that spiel about God is testing them and all of that stuff, I saw that Angela liked that post. So I think, they're always going to be team their uncle, team their brother. You know what I mean? Now, granted, I don't think they've spoke on those allegations either. And truthfully, on a PR level, most people are not going to speak on those allegations. They're not. But at the same time, it almost seems like Kimora is bringing them up now to try to give herself more of a positive image in the public. Because based on what I'm saying, based on what I'm seeing in my research, when Ming came out saying Happy Father's Day and to Kimora Lee, and Kimora posted what Ming said, and Russell posted that, don't look at the father, kind of look at your mother as to why maybe we don't have a good relationship. From my understanding, at that particular time, people was going in on Kimora, because Kimora hasn't really had a good public reputation since that situation with Jordan. She just hasn't. Like, no one from what I've seen, no one has really checked on her from what I've seen. And apparently after that post, they went in on Kimora even more about some of the stuff that she's doing. As soon as, I guess, people started attacking her in the comments or whatever case may be, all of a sudden we got that live. Now, again, do I think that everything that she said is not true? No. I think everybody in this situation is telling some truth, especially their truth. I think all of them, including Russell, is telling some of his truth as well. And again, your truth doesn't mean it's the factual truth, but they're telling their truth. But I do feel, based on all I'm seeing, around that time, 2018, when this man got arrested and these stocks were involved and, money was mismanaged or whatever the case may be, that's when the shit hit the fan with their relationship. Not the SA allegations, not those. It was this money. That's the way it's appearing to me. But I definitely want to know what your take is on it. Yeah, she did. And here's the thing, CCC, you can give your friend advice, because she probably don't know Jordan from a can of paint. She's apparently friends with, Chloe and them. But there's a way for you to be able to show your support without pretty much implying that, you need to check her or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Because that's where it got really messy. And again, she didn't say you need to do X, Y, and Z, but at the same time, I think that's why she's trying to say, I didn't tell them verbatim to harass her. I didn't tell them verbatim to bully her. I just said that the disrespect can't happen. And, you need to check them. Whatever that check was, I didn't tell them to do X. I didn't tell them to do that. I just said, don't take the disrespect. And then, of course, she said, don't start none, won't be none. But she didn't apologize for it. And that was my issue with her, too. I don't know if Kimora's ever apologized. And a couple people who actually got information firsthand, who have actually worked with Kimora, they said she's not a passive woman. She's always been very headstrong, always, been unapologetic about the things that she has said and done. Because again, when people were attacking her saying, Jordan, she's a child, like, why would you do that? I looked it up. I didn't see no apology. No apologies were given. So with that being said, that's my take on the situation. I feel like the reason why something doesn't feel right about this story, because we have a lot of information that we don't know. We just see on the surface of what people want to put out. Okay. And granted, again, when we're dealing with certain people, when we're dealing with certain, genders and everything else, when I saw Aoki post that video of her father and he looked like he was going off the deep end, I was like, oh, wow. But at the same time, I've seen Russell Simmons in documentaries do that also. So I was just like, that seems like to be him. But at the same time, I don't think it's fair that it's silent. Hell, give it to us straight up. What did the man say? What did he say? Don't do half receipts on us. Give it to us all. What did he say? You know what I mean? That's the issue that I have. So, yeah, she's always spoke highly of him. I'm going to drop the link to see if, you guys have some stuff to say. Again, all of this is alleged. I, again, wanted to talk about something outside of course, the love after lockup and all of that stuff. And this kept coming up. And I was like, okay, I don't know how comfortable I feel talking about this, but I'm going to see what my people say. And based off of that, it was 50-50, but it was a lot of research that I had to do in this situation. And just something doesn't sit right with me. I don't think we have the whole story until we have the entire story. I'm not going to be team anyone. Like, I'm not. What I am, if anything, let me take that back. If anything, I am team these women who have given these allegations. I am team them getting justice. That's the only people I'm team about. But as far as this Russell versus Kimora situation and how these kids are involved, I'm not team anyone at this point, because no one has truly given me a full picture of everything. And based off of the stuff that I have researched, the Tim guy seems like he's the issue. For sure, the issue. And so it's a sad situation, because it really seems like everyone in this situation has gotten played. Okay, while he is walking away scot-free, because I'm trying to understand how you are involved in some type of $4 billion scandal, but you only have to pay back $43 million. How? $4 billion? I'll tell you, boy. And then again, that's another thing too. He said he wasn't married. So I'm wondering if the fact that he lied and said he wasn't married, it must have been in another country. Because that means I would assume that Kimora's marriage isn't legit if he was still married. So maybe it's legit still because it was in the US versus the other country. I don't know. But the fact that he even admitted, I guess, in court that he lies a lot to the point where even lying to her, I don't understand why they would even believe that he possibly wasn't involved in some type of scandal and possibly somehow using Russell's money or taking Russell's money in some kind of way. Like, I don't see how that is impossible. Maybe on record it shows nothing happened, but again, people who are good at what they do can make things happen off record too. You know what I mean? They can. So we don't really know. And the sad part about it is I don't necessarily know if we're ever going to know, because I mean, it seems like whatever's going on in the court, he's able to write it off. Yep. And there it is. That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. That's the vibe I am getting from this situation. And the kids are involved, feeling like they have to take sides. Because again, while Aoki's saying she don't know what's going on, Aoki's saying it's your fault, Dad, it's your fault. And if there is something in there that says that it's not his fault and he got scammed, I can see how he can be very upset with his child trying to point the finger at him, because he really may be thinking that it's pretty much the mother that's putting the battery in their back. You know what I mean? Does that mean that he should go off on her? No. Hell no. Exactly. And I think that's why a lot of people are doing that too. But again, we give commentary. So this was my take on it. I think the common denominator is that guy. And that's what's going on. They truly want to blame each other. And they're trying to do very shady things, like in my opinion, because like I said, Kimora, you didn't talk about this SA situation for so long. Now that you're doing your tears on live, you want to bring it up. And I know it's difficult because she has children with him, but at the same time, at a certain point, if you feel, especially with you implying how young you were when you guys met and when you got together, because now the whole thing is coming out that he's a monster. He was grooming her allegedly, all of this stuff. You put that out there. So to me, you putting that out there and mentioning the other women, she's almost trying to imply it. So based on your experience, even though you said in a statement that's not the man you know, but now you're trying to apply based off of your experience and you're almost implying those women, why would you still deal with him? Why would you still do business with him? You know what I mean? That's what's not sitting right with me either. It's just not. So that's why I said, while I feel Aoki and I feel like she is a child crying out because she feels like she's caught in the middle of this, I don't know about Kimora. I don't know. I do not know. Because again, this is damn near 30 years in that she has known, well, yeah, 30 plus years in, she's known this man. She's known him. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's a lot of stuff she has seen. A lot of stuff. And so now we're hearing about this because of that one post that he said. Because again, let's be clear. That's still their father. And even if there's been a past couple of years, they've had some issues. He definitely seemed to have been a great father up until, I guess, around the 2018 time. He has been a great father. They all said it, including Kimora. So that's still your daddy. So it did make him feel a certain type of way. It was probably a slap in the face to him. Like, you know, I'm not a father who's just never been around. You know, I'm a father. Yeah, we're going through our issues right now, but I'm your father. I've taken care of you financially, whatever the case may be. Of course, clearly we they're claiming emotionally he hasn't been there based on what some of the stuff is being said. But, they constantly said he was a great father, and there was a great co-parenting situation. Child. see, you going in. Are you able to call up? Because you definitely gave your opinion on this situation. And MM or T, do y'all have anything to say? Because this could definitely be a quick live, because again, I think a lot of this we're gonna have to wait and see. And again, this may all boil over, to be honest. But and then the fact that they're saying there's some mental issues possibly going on with Russell. I mean, it's possible. I mean, we not gonna act like, again, with age and things like that. I don't know what type of medical care he's getting, in Bali. Apparently he's at a yoga resort. I don't know what type of, medical, stuff they have there. But it's possible. But at the same time, all of that screaming that we saw that we couldn't hear, y'all look at old documentaries of Def Jam. Y'all look at Run House. Y'all look at certain things from Russell Simmons, him talking about records and different things like that, or talking to his staff, and you see if it's all been peachy. It hasn't. That's Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons will go off the deep end and he will say some very crass stuff without hesitation. He's been that way. So this isn't anything new. You know what I mean? It's not. And that's my take on it. And it seems like no one wants to come up, which is all good. You guys are definitely giving your opinion in the chat. I say we wait and see. And we will definitely come back. Oh, hello. Hey, hello. Let's see. If Aoki was staying, let me see. If Aoki was staying out of it, then she shouldn't have posted anything. Back in the day, she would have to be told, stay in a child's place, even though she is an adult. It's between Kimora and Russell, right? And she claims she was told that. But again, looking at the text messages, you were very adamant to tell your father it's his fault that his money is gone. That don't sound like somebody who is being neutral. So she almost kind of put herself out there that she's not being neutral. Tim is facing 25 years. Yeah, I heard that. But apparently he's testifying against other people and trying to pay money back. So he may not get that. I don't know. Hey, MM, what's up?
Hey, how you doing? Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. So about this, my opinion, and allegedly, let me put that out there. With the Kimura situation, like I said in the comments, they were never married because he had a wife, a real wife, somewhere in Malaysia. He testified that in court. It was a big
Mhm.
thing, and I remember that. Like I said, Tim scammed everybody, allegedly.
Right. That's what it seems like, allegedly. Yeah.
Allegedly. He took everybody's money, and of course, Russell feels some type of way because he alleged that Kimora was taking money from their business account because they still have a joint business with the baby fat situation, and was paying his lawyers, was paying
Wait,
the lawyer.
hold on. Repeat that, MM, because I on my end you kind of went out. Repeat that again. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Maybe it was my
Okay.
side, but repeat that.
No, you good. So I think Russell, well, what they're alleging is Russell is upset with Kimora because she was taking money allegedly from their business account to pay for all his legal fees.
Right. That the stocks and stuff. Yeah, that's what he's
Yes,
alleging.
and
Right.
right, and he's kind of feel some type of way, but my thing is, why are you upset with the kids?
Yeah,
That's
and that's the problem. That's the problem, is that he's upset. But again, we're only getting bits and pieces of the story based on what they want to put out. Now, based off of what Aoki put out there, she has inserted herself somewhat, because she was
right,
telling him it ain't her fault, it's your fault. Now, granted, you shouldn't be calling her mother a piece of shit to her.
right,
Like you're that's what I'm saying. Like, he's wrong. It seems like everybody is wrong, and yet everybody is right in these situations. But it's both, and he's wrong for that. Don't attack. Don't. It's always going to be an automatic situation that a child is going to go on the defense side when you are attacking their other parent, especially the mother. The mother
Correct.
who's been the full-time parent the entire time. So at the end of the day, he is wrong for that. But what I saw in that one particular text message, I was like, Aoki, you lost that money. I was like, okay, wait a minute now. Like,
Yeah,
is
you
that
you don't
you
even know what's
talking?
going on.
Right. Is
You
that
don't
you
even
talking or your mama talking? You know what I mean?
right. And she was a kid when Baby Fat was coming out. She was like a little baby, so she don't really know, she only hearing her, one side.
Well,
And
it's not
another
even a
thing
baby
is,
fat thing. It's the investment situation that I think
right.
he's speaking on. But go ahead.
And another thing is, in this day and economy, you're seeing a whole bunch of celebrities. Like when I grew up, in the early 2000s, Baby Fat, Russell Simmons, Kimora, they were the thing, right?
Hmm.
But now with this economy, you seeing a whole bunch of celebrities' money just drizzling, like just fading away. Because it's crazy out here, with this crazy economy, and it's just revealing that what we saw when we were younger, like with the MTV cribs and all that, what we saw was fake. It's
Illusion. It's
it's
an
an illusion.
illusion. Hmm.
It was all a facade. And it's like, dang, I remember looking at MTV Cribs, and now they just now exposing that MTV Cribs, people were renting houses.
Right. Airbnb before Airbnb.
Airbnb was a thing.
Yeah, before it was a thing, that was Airbnb. And this is one thing I've learned just through my experience. Loud money is not real money.
Nope.
Because people who have to always talk about what they purchased or what they got, or like publicist is putting out there what they have and everything else, and doing different things, like you said, MTV Cribs and stuff like that. People who truly, in my opinion, got it, they don't want other people to know they got it.
Right.
They don't.
Exactly. They really don't, because I've seen, especially, no offense to the white people, but if you see a lot of white people or black upper middle class black people, I live in Atlanta, so you see a lot of, especially upper middle class black people, they are so mild. They are so mild. They don't wear designer, they don't do none of that.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
wear Skechers. Those are the people with the real
They may
money.
even look like bums certain places, and you be like, "Oh, you be trying to give them a dollar, and you don't even realize they got millions and millions of dollars in their bank account."
Man, and that's what I tell people too when they come to Atlanta. They like, oh, Buckhead is money. No, it's not. Everybody, majority, alleged, let me say allegedly, majority of people that ball out in Buckhead are scammers.
Allegedly. See, that's one thing about ATL, and you hear about that a lot of people, at least especially back in the day. Now Atlanta has gotten so expensive that I don't even know if people. I'm sure people can still find hustle ways to maintain, but at least
Yes,
the thing about Atlanta even 10 years ago was that you can maintain and do some unethical things and be able to
right.
live the lavish life. Now, with it being so expensive, unless you in the same situation, or maybe you had bought a home back then or whatever, it takes a lot, because I'm hearing that the average rent now for a one bedroom in Atlanta is 1,700, and
It
you
is.
have to have like 30% as far as your income, or
Yep.
at least for rent.
Three times
Yeah,
the, yeah. And
yeah,
I tell
and
people all the time, you might as well just get a house.
right, right, and to the point where they said to actually get approved for an apartment that's 1,700 in Atlanta, you had to at least make $35 an hour. Who making $35? A lot of people ain't making $35 an hour in Atlanta.
Nope, unless you're a nurse.
Yeah, it's like, so that's why I'm just like, what is going on? But yeah, you have a lot of people who can give off the illusion that they have it way more than what they really have it. Like, that's what it is. But
That is true. Because, like I said, I live in Atlanta. And of course, you see a lot of that. And now it's with this economy again, it's just exposing all the fake money, the fake rich.
yeah, yeah, because inflation is a bitch right now.
It sure is. And
Yeah.
the real estate market is competitive. It's just crazy. I just hope everybody learn from it. Just hold on to your money, don't blow it, and whatever you invest to, make sure you do your research.
Yeah, and stop feuding and putting family business out there. Now,
out there.
granted,
Yeah.
granted, at the end of the day, sometimes people get fed up. But see, the problem is when you put it out there, some people just don't investigate things on one-sided. They just don't look
Right.
at things just in one way. They start pulling receipts all over the place. And so what I'm seeing is a different perspective from several different people. Everybody is just not anti-Russell. Some people
Right.
are looking at it on Kimora's end like, hold on now, especially with this SA situation. They like, you didn't say nothing for years. Now you
She
trying
sure
to
did
imply
not.
it. Now you trying to sit up there and even imply that you got married too young and all of this type of stuff. Like people are looking at it in different ways. So sometimes while you want to put that things out there to get a positive public opinion, sometimes you end up shooting yourself in the foot a little bit.
But my
So,
thing with her though, excuse me, I'm sorry about
that's
that. But
okay.
my thing with Kimora though, like how are you gonna say that? But she was reaping the benefits.
Right.
When she married him young, she was reaping the benefits. He put her on to make more money.
Right. Baby Fat. She became the CEO of Baby Fat. She definitely, because I remember she had her own reality shows showing, how she was moving as far as Baby Fat is
Mm-hmm.
concerned. She definitely, and that's one thing a couple people have said. Kimora has never been the type to marry down. The men
Nope.
that she has married have brought in more than she has.
Mm-hmm. It's just Kimora
So,
can't keep a man though, but that's a whole nother thing. That's a
oh,
whole
girl,
nother
that's a
thing.
whole nother
She has a
conversation.
whole like her kids are a rainbow tribe, which is no shade, but it is like she can't keep a man. Like I thought her and that African actor, I thought they was gonna go long term, but then when I found out they divorced or broke up or something like that, I was like, damn,
Girl, look, that's a whole nother
that's
topic
a whole
about
nother
look,
time.
look, that's a whole nother discussion for real, for real. But on
Oh
that
man,
note, I really appreciate you giving your commentary on the situation because yeah, it does run deep. And again, it's a sensitive topic because we're talking about situations where, of course, she met him young and he was older. And tragically, I see what you're saying. I talked about that earlier. I know you just got in here, but on Insider, they did a timeline and they're saying that not only Russell, but apparently like the mother approved of their relationship. Now,
what?
granted, yeah, like Insider gave a timeline of their relationship. And so apparently, this is what they're saying. She met Russell at 17 at New York Fashion Week. And at that
Mm-hmm.
time, he was like around 35. I think that's what they're saying. But they said that she was legal at 17. This is what Russell said in 2020. Apparently, there was an interview he did and said
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't begin dating until Lee turned 18 and that Lee's mother approved of their relationship. And
Of
then he
course.
also said on his IG that she was legal at 17, but she turned 18. And that May, her mother and her manager, with I believe it's Beth Ann Hardison, approved, supported, and rushed us. We really didn't need a push. That's what he
Uh,
said.
that
And that's
money, boy, that money is a root of all evil.
that's on Insider. So, like I said earlier, at the end of the day, when we're dealing with these drastic age changes with like Aaliyah and so many others that you hear
Mm-hmm.
about, that's why people have always questioned or wondered, or even with this R. Kelly situation with these girls and their parents. You always look at the parents and say, what's going on here? You see what I mean? So let him tell it was approved. And I haven't seen anything based on the research I did. Now, this is all alleged, but I haven't seen anything saying that they denied what he said. They said
I
it
don't.
was approved.
To me, Russell, even though his investments is turning sour, he still have major connections, and that's why I think Kimora is crying online because he has the power. Like he's the gateway of music because he's the co-founding member
He's
or
like the
founder.
godfather of hip hop almost. Yeah.
Yeah, so he can blackmail anybody if he really wants to from Bali, because he probably
Allegedly.
got
Allegedly.
allegedly can blackball anybody from Bali because he probably got receipt on everybody. He probably seen allegedly industry stuff that he can really expose.
True, but you know who else may have that too? Kimora. We don't
Yep.
know. See, the thing is that there's so much stuff we don't know. Someone claimed allegedly that she will probably do a tell-all book. I don't think she will, because
No.
once you get to the point of doing a tell-all book, you're pretty much saying you kind of want to isolate yourself from the industry, because
Yep.
it's almost like once you do that, you're kind of exposing secrets that you shouldn't expose, so to
And
speak.
plus,
But
Kimora like that lifestyle. So if she do a tell all, everybody definitely gonna cut her off.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, and she's not gonna be a socialite anymore. She's gonna blackball herself.
Yeah, because it's almost like it's literally yeah, you're blackballing yourself when you do that. So unless things get really, really drastic for her, I just don't see her doing that. I don't. But let me bring up Dustin. Hey Dustin.
Hey, I'm just listening in. I'm kind of late, so I don't know what's your topic tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll bring you down because it's literally because I'm about to probably close it up because I was hoping you was coming up here to give your commentary, but I'm talking about Kimora Lee Simmons and the Russell Simmons drama and the children's drama with Aoki.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
It's
sorry. I'm kind
no,
of late
it's
tonight. I'm
okay.
sorry.
Don't even worry about it. But the good thing about a live is there's always a playback, so you can always play it back and listen to everything. And you guys, please like, share, and subscribe this live. For people who are still in here, just make sure that you hit that like button and definitely subscribe and everything. But yeah, we're talking about that. Nothing about love at the lockup and stuff. Like I wanted to just talk about this because like MM was just saying, and a lot of us were saying, like there's a common denominator here, and I think that they're just rather fuss with each other than really look
Mhm.
at the person at hand that seems to have been allegedly scamming every damn body. So
Yeah,
yeah, you
I
can
agree.
always pick it back.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with that.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely messy. And again, right now in this economy, people are like trying to hold on to everything they have.
Yep.
And you
yeah,
definitely see that, and you see that on our level, like we regular people, we see
Right.
it
yeah,
on our level. I can't imagine what it's like at that level. And people who, the more money they get, the more they're penny savers, in a sense of they can be very stingy with their money. You constantly
hmm
hear that. So I
yeah.
mean,
I hear about that all the time.
yeah, so I could see him. I could see him losing his shits right now if there was
Yeah,
some foul stuff involved. And again, it may not have anything to do with Kimora because it sounds like she got played in this situation too.
Yep.
yeah,
So he literally, maybe he has no choice but to blame her because Kimora and Tim were a unit.
yeah.
You
And
know
one
what I
more thing.
mean?
Can I say one more thing
Sure.
before we wrap it up? And have you noticed they haven't said Tim name though? Because
No,
Tim
they
is snitching.
haven't.
Because
They
Tim is snitching
haven't.
in court. He's not. They like, hell no, we're not
So
gonna
I'm
say his
wondering
name.
if there's some type of cease and desist or something like that that's involved. Because I'm like, yeah, because they haven't mentioned his name.
Because
They-
allegedly Tim has a lot of business accounts. So and he was putting allegedly Kamora's name on those.
Oh,
So she lost a lot of her network because of it. So I think they don't want to say his name for legal purposes, because they don't want to go to federal prison and all that, go through that federal. Because right now he's snitching. He's trying to reduce them 25 years to 5.
yeah, I already saw somewhere that he's actually publicly testified against someone in Malaysia that he was working with or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Teton some Comoras across the street? Comoras across the street. What? Sorry, y'all. Nene ruined Kamora's name for me. Oh, but yeah, so yeah, it seems, that's what I'm saying. It seems messy. It seems like there is much more going down the rabbit hole than we realize, which is why at first I was like, I don't know if I'm going to talk about this, but
Mm,
everything that I said pretty much is alleged and based off of what they have put out there and what you can actually get on Google. So,
hmm
but I just feel like based on
I
what,
seen I
go
seen
ahead.
a lot. I seen a lot about it on Google, but I didn't realize what was going on till you guys went live about it. But anyway,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
messy. It's
yeah,
messy. But I will
yeah,
say this, it's messy, but there's still so many things we don't know. So as far as I see
Mm-hmm.
it in closing, I will say this. We just need to wait and see.
yeah. We're gonna wait and see. We're gonna all be here to
Yep.
be talking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we will just wait and see. At this, and honestly, at this point, It could be that they did all of this and all of a sudden we won't hear about it again for all we
Yeah,
know. But at the end of the day, we just have to wait and see. But I
but
just go
I
ahead.
think I think we're going to hear about it again. I don't
Maybe.
think I don't think this is going to be the end of it.
Maybe, but I do know one thing. I do pray for those kids because even though they're
Yep.
adults, they seem to be caught in this and they seem to be trying to be mouthpieces for parents that they shouldn't be mouthpieces for.
That
Mm-hmm.
part.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't like that. And again, they're in a very vulnerable state in this situation. So I don't, and I know some of you guys are coming in. Hey, Tiff. Hey, Wanda. It's okay. That's the
Sorry,
benefit.
I'm so late tonight.
No, it's okay. It's again, I went on early because I didn't have to work today. But as far as I see, that's the beauty of it is hitting that playback and being
Yep.
able to listen to what was
Yep.
said. But why bring your personal problems on social media, especially since they have been quiet? I mean, that's what we talked about, Wanda. And hey, Wanda girl, that's what we talked about. It just seems really fishy and the timing and the things that she was suggesting. Yet she was very quiet for years. It doesn't sit
Yep.
right with me, which is why I
Yeah.
said something doesn't feel right about this story, period. And I feel
Nope.
that they both are right in all of them are right in certain ways, all of them are wrong in certain ways. And they are
Yep.
all of them are speaking their truth, but that doesn't mean it's the actual truth. Because you know what I mean? At the
Just
end of the
like
day,
it.
it could be Kimora side, Russell side, Aoki side, and then there's the actual truth in the
Yeah.
situation. So we don't really know. But what I do know is it seems very skeptical, and we just gonna have to chill and wait. We're gonna really have to see how this
We're
unfolds.
gonna have to play. We're gonna have to play the waiting game for a while.
Yeah.
It is.
I wouldn't be surprised if the feds get involved, if you ask
Oh
me.
Lord. Whew.
I
They're
wouldn't be,
going.
because
I
their name is in so much illegal stuff. It's ridiculous. Because I looked up some of their
Allegedly.
stuff allegedly. I'm sorry, allegedly. Um, it's crazy.
I think they're going to. I think they're going to get involved. There ain't no. I really think they're going to. In this
CCC,
case.
I really want you
In
to
this
come
case.
up here because you definitely are. You have your opinion on this, honey, and I want to hear it. But I know if you working or something like that, I get it. But she definitely been. Well, I'm sorry. I'm assuming CCC, you're a she. Let me know. I don't want to disrespect anyone because, of course, I can't tell by your name. But yeah, she said I don't think I would disrespect my father or comment on him not giving me money. I would just ask my wealthy mother that has my back instead of crying and disrespecting my father. Yeah, a lot of people feel that way too. They're like, if your mother is just as wealthy as your father, get it from him or whatever the case may be. And a lot of people are saying that, especially because they're now adults. But at the same time, let Kimora tell it. Russell was trying to down them for going to college, saying, why would you go to college? Why would you use that money to go to college? And let kids do what they want. Like college is not a bad thing. It's not like they was trying to say they putting all of their money in a Ponzi scheme. Like they wanted to get an education. Like Aoki got an education. She went to Harvard at 16 years old. That is impressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very.
Like that is very
That's
impressive. So
it's very hard to get in the Harvard, let alone your age. Which is
exactly. And you graduate at 20 years old and she was a double major from my understanding. You got to give her props. So,
yeah.
and again, the problem is that he comes from a very old school mind way of like a way of thinking. And again, there was a certain time when you came up. Again, he came in at a time when hip hop was just developing.
That
So as
part.
Mm-hmm.
far as that, like
Yeah.
you can't tell what you were able to do with no education and what you were able to do when it was cheap as hell, when gas was like freaking 35 cents, and you can get, what I'm saying, like dollar slices of pizza or 50-cent
Too
slices of
bad it's not.
pizza.
Too bad it's not that cheap no more. But
It's not, but you could do a lot more back then, and you were able to really grind it out and make a way to do the things that the hip hop game and so many other industries are so saturated now. It's
yeah,
like you have to have backup plans. You have
that's
to
just
do
like
things.
country music. Yeah, it's so music in general is so saturated these days.
Yeah, it is. And again, it's not saying that it's impossible. I mean, it's not impossible to do. Like you can still get in there, but if you notice, a lot of people now are going the independent route.
Yep.
Yeah,
They're
Because
not
of
even,
social
yeah.
media.
yeah, they're
Social
going the
media.
independent route. So, what he was able to accomplish, and he damn sure was able to accomplish a lot. What he was
Yeah.
able to accomplish back then is not the same for kids today. Now, granted, at the end of the day, they definitely have more of an advantage than your average child because of who their parents are. But if part of that journey and process is them going to college and they ain't got to go in debt for it, let them go to college.
Right.
Yeah.
Let them go to college. It is not a big deal for them to go to college. So with that, I'm
I
in the
don't.
back of a
I,
children's. Oh, hold on. See, I'm in the back of a children's services meeting. All right, girl. I definitely wish you would have been able to come in, but at the same time, you definitely giving your opinion on the situation. I think we all have. Russell wanted them to follow in the family business or marry well. Yeah, but it's not his life to do. You know, he
Right.
created their lives, but it's not their life. And trust, interesting enough, he says that, but I'm sure his parents wanted him to go a certain way because I'm sure they was looking at him like, what is this hippity boppity stuff you trying to sell? Like, what is this? Like, go and get your education and everything else. And he still
Right.
did what he wanted to do. So you got to give them their own lane to be able to do what they want to do. Just like, even though you rebelled against probably your parents, you did what you wanted to do, and yours
Right.
is just successful. So
He just old and grumpy. He's one of them old grumpy men. Oh. Mm.
So, but you it's the thing is what I will say though, like if anybody really, because I'm a big documentary person. I
mm,
looked at a lot of documentaries on hip hop and Def Jam, and I've also looked at a lot of the reality shows he was on. That
I
is
watch.
Mm-hmm.
Russell.
I listen to
That's
a lot of documentaries.
Russell.
Yeah.
Russell is that. He's always been yes, he has his yoga side, but he can go off the deep end and go to hell off. That's
He sure did.
that's a part of who he is. So
He sure did.
this is not random, in my opinion. Like when I saw that video that was silent, I was like, okay, this looks like a normal Russell moment. Like
Mm-hmm.
definitely had those moments, and we've heard about it on reality TV and documentaries. We've seen it too. So that's why I'm like, this is
Everybody has
not
these
different.
moments.
Okay, if it's not celebrities, will we be hearing about this? No. You know he wouldn't, Wanda. You know he wouldn't. I just don't like the fact that they brought this shit out on Father's Day and Juneteenth.
I know.
Shoot, I was like, come on now. Come on
You
now.
should have waited that Wednesday. I should have did this
For real.
Wednesday.
For real. I was like, come on, people. Come on. So with that being said, you guys, I know for some of you guys who just came in, of course, hit the playback, hit the like button. And then when you hear everything, definitely give your opinion on the situation. There's a lot of people who are wrong in the situation, but like I said, my main thing is the children, and then also at the same time, we have women out there who have been alleging stuff for years and they haven't gotten their just due. They
One thing
have,
I've been
He
saying.
moved out.
wait,
He
hold on, you
moved.
guys talking at the same time. Go ahead, MM.
He moved quick.
Oh,
He
he got the
went.
hell up out of here.
He sure,
He
he
got the
sure
hell up out of
did.
here. Yeah, he did. Now, what were you saying, Dustin?
I was gonna say YouTube hasn't been sending people the notifications. I haven't been getting the notification
I
that he's
know,
live.
and I don't know what's going on. Maybe you guys can maybe unclick the notification button and then click it again to see if that helps, because that's why a lot of the times I wait,
A
because
lot of a
it
lot of the
seems like
times,
people come in later.
I depend on the notifications and I haven't been getting them. So that's why I was late today. I didn't even know you was live. Tell you the
Nah,
truth, I
that's.
didn't
I
know you
think a
were.
lot of people are. A lot of people are saying that. So it is what it is, and maybe because again, I'm not monetized. I'm new. It could be a lot of different factors, but either way, you guys eventually come in here, and even if you guys don't come in here on time, you guys always do the playback and give me your comments. So any support is support. That's the way I
Yeah,
see it. So at the end of the day, but yeah, hopefully as I grow and it gets better in a sense of you guys get the notifications.
yeah. But man,
But
I think something on YouTube side needs to be updated because I get notifications for other people, but that's not for
how
not for
many
you.
they probably got thousands of followers though, right?
Correct? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, I'm in which by the way, I'm not shooting down how many subscribers I got. I think I've gained like 100 subscribers, you guys, within like a week and a half. Now
Yeah.
I literally from
But
people promoting and everything else. So trust and believe is growing over here. And I appreciate all of you for the support It's growing over here, but I do think it does make a difference depending on how many followers you have, as far as probably the notifications and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but and
So
of course,
I was gonna ask you if I could share the live, try to share your video so that I could try to
absolutely,
help
you
you
guys
out.
can share all the videos I post, the videos I post. By all means, that's why I say like, share, and subscribe. So definitely, definitely. And
I
of course,
seen your
Brother
I
Teeth over
seen your
here.
I seen your video that you done about brought the Bravo show last night.
Oh yes, yes,
Martha's Vineyard.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But no, you guys can always like, share, and subscribe. And Brother Teeth, I'm about to talk about the damn idol tonight. You still like that show? We're gonna talk about that. My petty two works. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, we gonna have, like I
What
said,
about
we're gonna have to
talking
just
about
sit back
American
and
Idol?
see. CCC. We just gonna have to sit back and see if that's the case. Now, I don't know if that means they're involved on the other sides. We know they're involved on the Tim side because all the stuff I was pulling from him were actually from government sites. Okay, so we know the government is involved on that side. But yeah, we just gonna have to wait and see on the situation. Um, Pride Parade is on Saturday. Oh, yes, in New York. Pride Parade in New York is always off the chain. That is the original Pride Parade, in my opinion. Like, if you ever want to go to a Pride Parade, you got to start with New York's first. They always get it popping out there. But on that
Yeah.
note, you guys, I love you guys. Definitely like, share, and subscribe. Catch the replay if you missed it. And I will see you on my next video or live. Love
All right.
you.
Alrighty, have a great one. Love you
Toodles,
too.
Have
Bye.
a
toodles.
good night, Nicole.
Bye.